Hey, hello, Janis.
Hello, Kristaps.
Hello everyone who is watching this video. So this is day 2 of my visit to Crowdestor. In the first day we visited, I don't know, some 7-8 projects together, right?
Approximately.
And today we are continuing with an interview about Crowdestor team, debt recovery, pledges, guarantees, and many other questions that some investors might be interested in. And as everyone knows, I'm quite skeptic about many P2P platforms, but today let's start with something positive. So recently Dižozols repaid everything, and that was one of the largest projects on Crowdestor, right?
That's, I think, second largest in Crowdestor and the largest currently, which is repaid. So yes.
Yeah. So
in total, approximately 3.5 million euro was repaid from 3,509 investors and total representing 69 countries, which was a very big surprise for me because 69 countries, that's a lot.
And can you tell us a bit more how this project was started in Crowdestor, and maybe can you mention some other really successful and repaid projects that you are really proud of?
This project started, if I'm right, in the very end of 2019, actually September, October, I think it was. Let's say the owners approached me. We started to discuss about this industry. This industry seemed very, very interesting for me. The management team is very experienced because they have this holding a mother company, which is a serious company in this forestry sector. They have a turnover of I think it's more than 30 million euros last year's turnover. So at that time, the concept seemed very interesting. The team seemed to be very experienced, professional. So this is how we started. In 2020, there were some problems. There were some problems because maybe not so much prices decreased, but the main problem when COVID started was that the buyers who were, let's say, in negotiations for already some 3, 4, 5 or even 6 months, and they were very soon to finalize the deal, basically to sell the properties. Once COVID started, they basically put everything on hold. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting that really it was not, prices also went down a bit, but they did not went down so much. Simply there was no deals, and one of the deal from one buyer was postponed for 13 months. Mm-hmm. And this is also the reason, this is the main reason why we had this delay, because really during 2020 it was just a moment of no deals.
Okay.
But I'm very happy that now it's successfully finished, repaid, and yeah, this was very, how to say, this project was one of those strategically important projects for us, yes, where we had a very big amount of investors, very well-known projects, and a big amount of money. So it was very important for us to solve it as soon as possible.
And what about other successful and repaid projects?
Well, in total we have more than 110 repaid projects, and if I'm correct, funds which have been repaid is approximately 25 million euros. So honestly speaking, we have a lot to mention. We have this Artillery's Street project, which also was one of them, which I showed you. I think we did a fantastic renovation, which is successfully repaid. Actually, I'm very also proud about several restaurants because there were 3 restaurants during COVID which managed to repay the loans before the loan term. Mm-hmm. So that was Aqualuna. We had a small loan also to Yakuza and Street Pizza. And Street Pizza was last week recognized as top 50 pizzeria in Europe. So that's nice. Whenever I read such things about our burgers, then it's a very, very nice moment for me. And also we have this electro kartings. They had 3 projects. 2 out of 3 are repaid. And several months ago, they received, they were recognized as the best electro sports karting in the world, number 1. So that's also a sign or that we have actually in the portfolio many good projects.
Okay. Then let's move to team.
Yes.
So, who are Crowdestor co-founders? Is it only you or is it Gunnar?
We started this project both together. I was the one who was funding this establishment and development steps. But Gunars is in Crowdestor from day one. And he has an option in any moment to also become a shareholder and so yes, that's why we call ourselves that we are both co-founders.
But at this point, Gunars is not holding any equity.
At the moment, no.
Is there a reason for that?
Our own internal agreement. Say like this.
But it's his decision, not you.
Yeah, his decision. Yeah, of course.
Okay, got it. What about the Crowdestor tickets project? So in the scheme that I saw, it was mentioned that after it's finished, like 75% of company will be owned by investors and 25% will be owned by you. Let's say if Gunnar decides to convert his options to equity, what would the structure look like then?
Basically the same as you just mentioned, only I will give part of my shares to him. Majority of part of my shares he has an option to buy from me.
And how much is this part?
Minority share, not majority, but minority share. So I will remain as the majority owner from those shares.
But you won't mention the exact number.
It's approximately not more than 1/3 of my shares. So.
Okay, got it. Then when I looked at SIA Crowdestor Security Agent, then a while ago Gunnar owned 50% of this company, but then later 100% of control went to you. So what changed there?
Basically Gunnar at the moment is more concentrating on this Crowdestor Pay. I am more concentrating on the Crowdestor. So let's say we have agreed that he will have a bigger role there and I will have a bigger role here.
So about automated scoring and lending automation to SMEs and so on. So for a while this was like a project that was really promoted to investors, and I think Artur Geisari was also a big part of that. Then later he left. Can you comment, is this project still alive or something?
It is, yes. It had important role and actually it still has and will have, because when we launched this, I think we explained why we are launching this automated scoring, because it is very, very time consuming to analyze each project only mechanically by yourself. So if you have such a model where you have, let's say, 100 of red flags, 100 of formulas which you calculate, and then the human resource is being spent the time, in the last stage, then it simply helps you to save lots of time. Because if we want to scale, then of course this model, how we were working in 2019, when we did everything 100% mechanically, that's not the way. because you simply cannot grow. You simply cannot grow in such a way. Of course, if you have, I don't know, like there is a French crowdfunding platform called October. I think they have 200 employees and stuff. Then if you have so big stuff, of course you can do it. But still, this automated scoring is very important in my opinion. And we have also some, I know there are some examples in the world where such automated scoring models where they work very well.
But is it active and live?
At the moment we have put it a little bit on hold because, economy is also not in the best shape at the moment. We have issued some loans, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 loans together. We want to wait, we want to understand how it works, we want to analyze what we can improve, we want to analyze which industries to exclude, or that's why at the moment we are not so actively
so you have funded some companies and you want to see what happens later.
Exactly. Of course, we see every day because we started already this more than 1 year ago, so we already have some kind of track record, but still we want slowly at the moment. Actually, it's not that we have put it totally on hold. That's also not true. We once a while we are launching some SME project. Also at the moment we have several on the table analyzing. So, but this definitely is something what we will develop. I would like to maybe to issue less loans during this year and maybe next year, but maybe with lower rates, so we can also attract stronger companies. Yes, because the rates if the rates are high, of course, not all the companies are ready to pay. There are lots of companies which are very strong and they are ready to pay these deals also because these high rates, because they have a deal, they know precisely how big profit margin they will have, and then for them this plus minus 5% per year maybe doesn't play so big role because they are looking on this: do they get this one deal or not? But if you take it, of course, as an operational capital, then of course it's high rate.
And what about Artur Geisari? So what was the reason why he left Crowdestor?
We were putting this on hold, and he was not ready. Maybe he wanted to go further, more aggressively, to expand to new countries. But still, I think that we were and we are still in a situation that we should slow down a little bit with the funding and concentrate more on the debt recovery to show to investors that we are money is coming back and then afterwards.
Okay, got it. I actually wanted to touch this debt recovery as well a bit. So I saw on LinkedIn that your, for example, head of marketing has 15 years of experience. So really good track record. So your marketing should be working well, right? On the other hand, I checked out the only person mentioned in Crowdestor site responsible about debt collection, Liga. And in her LinkedIn, I saw that Crowdestor is the only job experience for her. So it seems that marketing could be a big priority, debt recovery, not really. Is it so? Or
no, actually, in legal department, we have totally 4 people who are dealing with debt collection and restructurings and things like this. Of course, many of them are not in LinkedIn and also not in Crowdestor website. But after this meeting, we can go and you will be able to have a quick discussion with other also people. Actually, when you came in, that was one of the also team from debt collection.
So it's not one person; it's 4 people working on
together. 4, yes, exactly.
And I guess the other 3 persons maybe have a bit more experience.
Yes, but of course, Liga also, this is not her first job. Liga is
so it's just that it's not mentioned.
Of course.
Okay, good. Then about real estate projects. So Crowdestor has quite a lot of real estate projects. So you mentioned the one that we saw that was successfully finished, but there are others that are delayed and not quite clear what will happen afterwards. Does anyone from Crowdestor have experience in real estate development, and who oversees these projects?
First, I'll explain why exactly did we have such type of projects on our platform, which are owned by us. When we started operations 2018 and 2019 especially, we had very little amount of investors. We were able to raise some amount of money already, but it was very hard in that moment to attract big projects because people were not very sure if we will succeed. But in the same time, we saw a tendency that once we are publishing every 1 second the next project, more and more investors are joining, and that was the reason why we understood that we have to pick up several projects developed by our own to faster increase this base of investors, also this loan portfolio, and that was the reason why we started. Also, we had an active role in development of several projects. Of course, at the moment, and already for last 1 year, our priority is to exit from all these projects, because also this is what regulation says, that we cannot fund our own projects. If we talk about these objects, yes, there are late projects. In the same time, at the moment, we are working on a solution, let's say like this, and we hope that very soon we will be able to exit from a big part of those real estate objects. One object also was refinanced in Estate Guru. We are also in negotiations with other platforms about other projects. So that's on the table at the moment for us as one of the priorities.
So you're trying to exit them, but when you started them, you didn't really have any.
No. If we talk about experience, then of course, me personally, I have experience in the energy sector, which is also kind of real estate industry, because to build an energy plant, you visited it, yes. It most probably it is even more complex than to build a real estate object. So me personally, I had some kind of experience in developing a project, approving it in construction authorities, getting a bank, commissioning it. So, but I cannot call myself as an expert in the real estate industry, and I'm not pretending. Of course, we had people who were hired by us to concentrate on these real estate objects. Yes. So the problem is not in these real estate objects are not the buildings themselves. The problem is that once COVID started and it was way harder to raise money, and basically the lack of funding to finalize the buildings. That is the main problem, because all these real estate objects, which we also visited last time, they all are quite similar. They all are about 1,000 square meters with total budget 1.3 million euros. In some cases, the building which is bought is in worse condition, so the price is lower and the reconstruction is higher. In some cases, like in Old Town, the building is more expensive because it's better condition and the lower reconstruction price. But basically, they all are quite similar in the end. We will have a very similar reconstruction price per 1 square meter. I mean, acquisition plus reconstruction will be relatively similar in all the cases, and also the purchase price as well. Maybe in an Old Town it's more than in Meža Enerģija, but still they are quite similar. So
And what about other projects that are connected either to you or Gunnar? So I'm aware of Crowdestor, of these real estate projects. Is there anything else?
I have this energy plant, which there is one operational energy plant which I own, as I said, the one which we mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes. And then 1 kilometer from that object there is land bought, and I'm developing technical project for 3.5 times bigger energy plant. So this is also my project. I'm not hiding it; everybody knows it.
Is Gunars related to any of the projects?
No, not actively. No.
Or any other team member or something?
No.
Okay, so, but if you want to get some kind of approval from regulators, then you need to exit all these projects.
Yes,
and that's your plan?
but I'm doing it. I'm already in negotiations to sell the energy plant, which is under development. We are really we are solving also these real estate projects. Of course, we understand it, and we are going in this direction. So we don't want to be.
But if you want to reconstruct these real estate projects, that could take years, right? So
actually, no. These all real estate objects which we visited, they have construction permits in place. In all the objects, renovation has been started already, as you saw, and let's say the remaining amount of time which we need to finalize them. Not completely, but at least until I'm in a stage when we can easily sell it, then it doesn't take so long time. Then it doesn't. Most probably, we will not be able to do it until November 2020. But at least I'm sure by that time we will have a big progress there, and we will have understanding when could we really sell them and exit from them.
So you think it could take, I don't know, 1 year? Less?
I think less, yes. Less.
Less than 1 year to exit all the projects that are related to you. Okay, got it. Then I have some questions about...
And actually, talking about the previous one, I understand that, yes, regulation will come in force in 22nd of November, but still there will be this adoption period.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't see a very, very big problem.
Can you tell me a bit more about two companies? One is Crowdestor Security Agent, the Estonian one. I see that it's established in 2017, but there are no reports. Is it like an empty company, not used for anything, or?
I'm not sure why are not reports. Should be reports. If there are no reports, then they will of course be submitted. Security agents, both in Latvia and Estonia, basically are empty companies. They are not doing any business activities. What they are doing, they are holding whether shares or collaterals or.
But also this Estonian company is holding something.
If I am correct, this Estonian company is holding shares in Warhunt company.
Yeah.
It's easier to use a Latvian company here in Latvia and Estonian in Estonia, as we have the main activities here. Then we have both there and there. This security agent. If we would go to Lithuania or Poland, then most probably would also register there.
But that means that if it's being liquidated or shut down by Estonia, it could cause some issue for you, right?
But it will not be.
I just saw that there are no reports since then, so
I will double check.
You probably should have a look at it.
I will double check.
Okay, and then another question is Crowdestor SME Latvian company. I see that it has a tax debt of 142,000 euros. What is it used for? And
well, that's the company which is developing and managing this SME automated sector. In previous management, it was maybe doing some things which it was not able to afford. So now we have taken over the management and we will be solving these problems.
So it was burning too much money before.
Yeah, because they were developing this software which costs a huge amount of money and yeah.
And the tax debt, so that's something that you will pay off, or what was the plan?
Yes.
In next month or year, or you have no specific timeline?
I don't know. Not, of course, that's not a question of 1 month. That's most probably a question of this year and.
But then, as I understand, then this Crowdestor SME, this automation project, this was set up as a completely different company. So it's
yes.
not.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Then about pledges and guarantees. In the Latvian company Crowdestor Security Agent, I saw that there are 5 pledges registered. One in 2019, one in 2020, and 2 in 2020, and 2 in this year. So in total, only 5 pledges, but you have like hundreds of projects. There is Organica, Solum, Beta Expeditors, who are brand seller. Yeah.
So these are on the shares. Well, yeah, but then this is on the shares. We have also in other cases on stock or some vehicles or real estate. So you don't see these pledges. So
but on companies you have only 5 pledges, right?
In some cases we are holding shares. In some cases, which you don't see here in this list, then we have like holding shares, registered pledge on shares, or registered pledge on stock or transport vehicles or real estate. So these are, at the moment, you are seeing one part of the potential pledges. And also in parallel, there are transactions where we have signed the pledge agreement, but we haven't registered these pledges in the public registers. So of course, one can say that this is more riskier transaction. Theoretically, yes, I agree, but in such a case, if the borrower will sell or steal or let's say make a gift this asset and write to the third party, then it automatically comes with a criminal case by police and court to cancel that transaction. But we also have such transactions. If we talk about the reason, then yes, basically when we started in 2019, then we lived in a moment when projects were being very fast funded, on not only on us but also on other platforms. So we also had to be competitive and to try to get some deals. And if there were platforms which were, let's say, a lot more elastic in terms of issuing loans, then yes, we also had to, let's say, to try to be competitive. Today, of course, I would say yes, that we would ask to register all these pledges in the registers, not only contractually. But if we talk about this Meža Enerģija case, then this is actually what we are at the moment doing. So this is very soon we will register these pledges and then think about the mechanism how we can step out of that deal and the bank steps in slowly.
Mm-hmm. So if you would fund new projects now, you would also register these pledges?
Yeah, definitely now, of course, because it's yes. But as I said, at the moment we are concentrating on the repayments more than on aggressive funding.
And you mentioned that for Meža Enerģija you will also register these pledges. What about other projects that you funded
Well, in
before?
some projects, in some cases, for example, the real estate buildings, they are owned by a security agent,
mm-hmm.
which actually is the same company who would register a pledge. So in those cases, in my opinion, to register a pledge to the company who owns it is kind of
useless.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But in other borrowers, Is there some similar cases as Meža Enerģija where you have changed your mind?
I would say no. I would say no. Of course, we have such projects because, as I said, we are not pure real estate platform. We are more business oriented, and that's why we have projects, for example, where we are paying in a schedule, and we will be able to register a collateral, for example, when 2/3 are paid. But of course this is written in project description. That's why also the interest rate is high, because you can pay a high interest rate because you don't pay all the money from the beginning. Yes, you are like paying small amounts, which does the saving. That's why you can offer the higher rate. And of course, it also comes with some kind of not standard project structure.
And talking a bit more about this Meža Enerģija, so one investor asked and said that you promised, I think at the end of July, that you will publish a list of assets that Meža Enerģija holds.
We have this information. He has also given us the balance sheet, and at the moment what I want to do is to, let's say, do a little bit more work and then to publish the result, instead of simply sharing things which are not finalized yet.
And that could be another month, half a year,
No.
weeks?
We are talking about weeks. We are not talking about months.
Okay. But in general, if you look at this borrower, do you expect that everything in the end will be paid, or you will take it over?
In general, actually, the situation is not so bad, because they had a loan of approximately 1.7 million. 580, if I'm correct, is repaid. So it is a part. We're not talking that it's, some 5 or 10% are repaid. It is a part which is repaid. The borrower is very communicative. He is responding. He is looking for solutions. We are meeting regularly. I know what kind of problems he has to refinance it, what he has to solve, and that's why we are, trying to help him solve the problem so he can refinance it. And why I say that this is important, that the borrower is very responsive, because it indicates that he wants to that this deal is successful. And there are cases when the borrower simply turns off the phone for weeks or months, doesn't respond. So there we have bigger problems.
But in case of this borrower, I think there have been like a lot of promises for more than a year, and
there have been that is a problem.
What is the point where you say that okay, this is enough, we will take it over, sell everything we can, and that's it?
Well,
is there such a point at all?
Of course, there has to become, because also for us it is very time consuming and very. In the end, it's also very expensive for us. Yes, to look for the solution, to meet, to talk, to explain to investors. Of course, sometimes it is easier simply to start the legal proceedings. Of course, but until I have until I'm sure that he really is trying to repay, to find a solution, and he wants to do it, and he could do it, then I think it is worth to wait a little bit more. But as I said, there are some cases like one of the companies which we also visited, those Inch, the design shoe production company. We also have been looking for lots of potential solutions and prolongations, but we decided that we should act a little bit more aggressively, because always there comes a time when you have to act. But also, if we talk about this 1 inch, I'm not sure if this inch is in your list. Inch is, in my opinion, very interesting project because they have 700,000 followers on Instagram and Facebook, so they have a very big database of customers.
Yeah.
They are actually well known in the world. The quality, in my opinion, is very good because those shoes are produced in the same factory where some leading world brands are producing their shoes, yes, like Givenchy or Kenzo. So I am sure that also in this case, this default procedure will not be a standard, for example, as it would be in Estate Guru case where they have first-hand collateral, yes. Our default will be also different, because if we will simply submit insolvency and bailiff comes and he says that, so today I'm selling these shoes and making an official auction, then what will be the price if some bailiff sells shoes?
Not much.
Exactly, and that's why we have to look to manage this case also by taking over as much this brand and all these portals. So the restructuring comes also with taking over the clients. The problems I'll explain also maybe in one more minute why the problems started for this. They have I would say 70-80 different design shoes. Each one has 6, 7, 8 sizes. So we are talking about 500 different units. And if you are buying stock and if you want to deliver to the customer very fast, you have to deliver from the stock. If you don't deliver from the stock and you're waiting from the production, it's like 2-3 months. And of course, they cannot simply not to accept also these orders, because these orders are also important. But when COVID started, this waiting time, because of longer production and longer shipping, it increased from 2-3 months, maybe even to 6 months. And then if some customer buys winter shoes in December and receives them in June, of course he's unhappy, he sends back them, he writes one, and the more returned orders, the bigger loss, the more negative comments, and this is how exponentially this negativity around Inch grew during 2020. And this is a problem, because but still I have
So it was a good brand, good quality,
exactly,
everything was fine, but it kind of snowballed from some bad business decisions.
That's the case, yes. I'm not sure if it is easy to recover the image and brand Inch 2, I don't know, but we have to try.
Got it. Then can you tell a bit more about Orange Square Transport? So, as I understand, in June 2019, you owned 100% of company at one point.
No, so we didn't own it. So in many cases, as I said, we are holding simply shares because we don't want these long, procedures in case if we want to change something. So this was one of the companies where we simply owned the shares, but the beneficial owners were different people. I don't precisely remember which was, maybe it was April approximately, we decided that I will step out because...
Yeah, later you went out of the company.
Yes, because we did it, because it's UK market, and when we understood that because of this COVID, also transport sector is hit very hard, we didn't want that some potential claims against me could also come, and then in such a way, not only that project would suffer, but Crowdestor could suffer. In Lithuania, Estonia, or Latvia, where we know how, let's say, the market works, and that the owner will not, the holder of shares most probably in no case will have such a claim. Then in these cases we were a lot more comfortable to stay as the owners.
So you were afraid of potential risks that borrower acts in a bad way, and then that comes back to you.
Exactly.
But in the end, that's what happened, right? Because the loan is not repaid.
A loan, actually, they have been paying something, and I think it is still. They still have some time. I know that they are trying to recover and start this again. In the UK, it's quite easy to start this transport business because you have to put some kind of this deposit, wait some 1-2 months to get a license. Whatever the number of units it is, 2-6. There are like £5,000 deposit per one truck. And then afterwards you just lease a truck. So in UK it is very easy to lease trucks. It's not like here in Baltic states, because you usually here have to buy, which demands lots of amount of money. There you can easily lease it and start operations with very little amount of money. This is what they have confirmed that they want to do. So.
But basically, if they don't repay anything, there's not much you can do, right? You don't own any shares, there are no pledges.
Yes, but they have.
Can't recover anything.
What they have told me, they have since the beginning of this year, they have a very big amount of debts where customers haven't paid themselves. So they have some kind of still potential money to recover the loan.
If someone pays them back.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it. About Dystopia. So in the beginning, big part of the money was raised to basically build a game, and I think that's quite clear. Anything can happen, like game can be successful or not. But in the latest rounds, I think I counted 5 or 6 rounds that were raised like factoring payments, right, for user acquisition, and the idea I think was that they get the money, they pay for user acquisition, and 3 months later they get back the money and pay you back, right? So it's not clear to me how is it possible that these projects are late. That's supposed to be standard like factoring payments.
Yeah, actually, if we talk about Dystopia, then the first money actually was, yes, also for development, but the development started, I think, 7 years ago already.
Yeah. So they funded the beginning of development on their own.
So they developed themselves. They have spent, if I'm correct, some 7 million euros in the last 7 years, because they have a staff of like minimum of 15-20 people. Majority is IT and design, where you have quite high salaries, so 150,000-200,000 salary budget per month they have had for the last years. So when we funded the first rounds, yes, that was partly to develop the game and also partly for this brand ambassador, because of this they also had huge expenses, so basically they needed some operational money to agree with all the parties and keep the game running. That is one. In total, yes, we have funded, I think, 3.8 million in principal, and until now 1.7 has been repaid, approximately 1.7.
But if you talk about these user acquisition campaigns, I think it's about 1.3 million.
I'm not sure how much it is. But it is not that all of them are late, in my opinion.
But at least 4 from 5, I think, are late. And I think not one of them should be late.
Not one of them should be late. Yeah, but so at the moment this is a project the same as in Meža Enerģija, Dižozols and Morhan, where we are having basically weekly meetings, and I know what kind of things are currently ongoing. So I think that very, very, very soon we will have news that also not the second biggest project on Crowdestor is repaid, but also the very biggest project is repaid.
So you think that everything will be repaid, including this?
I think very soon. We are talking about a very short period of time. Yes.
Weeks, months, days.
No, of course not days, but I think it's not any more months. We are talking about weeks.
But I guess you should, at least you mentioned that you have access to all the data and so on. So
we have, yes.
So the, let's say 1.3 or whatever money that was spent on user acquisition, this money was spent on user acquisition, or is it on paying salaries?
Of course. And the game is also, but so what is the case there? Most probably you know very well, because this fight between Facebook and Apple, that they have changed all these how to say, privacy things. And this also affects them, because it is a totally different way how to track people and how to buy those paying customers. So now it's not so simple and straightforward, which in some cases is good, because now it means that basically if you're lucky, you can cheaply buy a player who pays a lot, and then which under the previous regulation would cost a lot. Because of these things, they have let's say the strategy is changed a little bit, but still the numbers, downloads, all those retention rates, all those ratios which show how much the average paying customer spends, how much in total from players customers are the paying customers. Yes, all these ratios are good. After the meeting, I could also show you some information from inside. So, but still, it is still, I would call the beginning of the user acquisition. We are still talking. They are not in a phase when you can say, so now everything is running on full load. They're still testing all the markets: American market, Europe market, Asian market. In Asia, you have cheap players. You buy lots of cheap players who spend a little. In America, you buy super expensive players who pay a lot. So they are still testing,
But you are not forcing them to repay these acquisition rounds in any way.
But they have paid a lot already.
But they should have paid basically on time. You agree or no? I'm not talking about the first round, so then that can depend on the results of game and so on. But these user acquisition funds, my impression from description and in general how it works is that it's like factoring payments that should be paid as soon as if
there would have been the old system how they can track precisely those paying numbers, then this repayment of one customer would be shorter. Now they're talking of, you most probably, you're also from the gaming industry, so you know that the repayment of one spent euro is not anymore 3 months, but now it can be 12 or 15 months, which is still good. So
basically these changes influenced how fast they get the money back.
I think that they made a very serious influence to all these IT companies who are buying users. But in some cases, I think it's also good.
Okay, got it. But then,
in some cases,
then it means that if they will pay back, it will be from some different funding, not from.
No, they have cash flow. Which maybe is not so big as they expected, because the way how this user acquisition is being carried out is also different, and they also have investors, so it will be combination.
Okay, but like your existing position is that you think quite soon everything will be paid back, and you're not worried about this project at all?
Yeah, I cannot let's say comment lots of details there, but this project definitely is in a list of those projects which does not create me so big stress.
Okay, got it.